So now we are ready for the next part in the START system. We covered how to create great rapport, and in this next part we want to look at the A, which is the very first part you address when you are speaking to your audience. The A stands for audience. They come for one reason only. They come because they want to learn something. They come for themselves. They don't come to hear you speak. They don't come to know about you. They come to know about themselves and how they can improve, how they can go from A to Z. And they hope and believe, hopefully, that you are that person that can take them from wherever they are to this new great place. So you must very, very quickly in your presentation address that. What is in it for the audience? What I typically do is that I do it with a question. So the question could be, if you've ever been nervous, this is not a good example. If you would like to be more confident on stage, then please raise your hand now. So I have the audience agreeing with me. I start creating even more rapport because they will then raise their hand. So you want to start with a question. In a lot of cases, that's a strong way to start. And start interacting with the audience by having them raise their hand. And the question should be positively stated, so it shouldn't be a negatively framed question. For instance, do you typically feel stupid? Then please raise your hand. It might be the case that some people don't feel they're that smart, but it's not likely that they want to raise their hand. And you also start projecting negative emotions in your audience. You want to make them feel great. So it should be a positive question. It should be something that pretty much all the audience can agree to, because you want them to raise their hand. So it's not good if only 10 or 20% of your audience can raise their hand. But again, on the other hand, it shouldn't be so simple the question that it insults their intelligence. So if you are maybe an expert on breathing, it could be a question, who in here thinks that oxygen is important? Please raise your hand. That is pretty much insulting their intelligence. So it has to be slightly more sophisticated. And by giving them that question, you are then indirectly telling them, what is this presentation going to be about? So you start off with a question and have them raise their hand. If you can, after a while, have them also verbally agree with you. So it could be, have them say yes. And you must tell the audience what they should say. It could be, for instance, are you ready to, after a little bit, when you start creating rapport and they feel more comfortable, you can have them verbally responding. So that could be, are you ready to learn and have fun? Can I hear a yes? And they'll be like, yes. Or you could say, yes or no. Or raise your hand like that. That's another way to signal you want them to give that sound. So you can then have them raise their hand that you want to start with, because it's less intimidating for your audience to raise their hand. It's a stronger commitment to verbally respond, especially if you are in a business setting. You might not have them verbally respond. Depends a little bit on the room, but that again is a bigger commitment, and they might want to keep a little bit of a facade in a business setting. But if it's a private setting where people come as their own private person and not part of a company, I think that's a great idea in the vast majority of cases. So start with a question and they will then automatically know what is in it for them.